Now, a lot of people have never believed me when I've said this time, for the first time in history, the Kalenjin vote is going to be divided. They have not believed me, and they have not believed what I'm saying. Well, today I want to add another statement to that. The Kalenjin vote will be divided. And if it is not divided, most of it will go to NASA. Yes, you heard me right. So before you start throwing your stones, let me just break it down so that we all understand what I'm saying. Now, on your screen right now, you should be able to see the breakdown of the various sub-tribes or tribes within the Kalenjin community or Kalenjin nation. Okay? The most populous by far has always been the Kipsigis. However, the most influential has mostly been the Nandi. The famous leader, Koitalel Arap Samoei, was a Nandi. The Nandi have a long history of military excellence, and this is what made them very dominant. In fact, the Nandi community are the ones who are responsible for stopping the British. You know, when the railway line was being built, the Nandi held the British not for 2-3 years, for 11 years. In fact, this culminated in the assassination of Koitalel Arap Samoei. He was tricked into a meeting, and then somebody just shot him point blank, the back of his head. All that is history. If you go over to the Kumekucha blog, you can read all that. But the long and short of it is that the Nandi have always been extremely influential. Okay? Now, in case you don't know, the Kipsigis have already appointed Isaac Ruto as a spokesman. And they've also said they will fully support Isaac Ruto. Now you know which side Isaac Ruto is. Okay? Now with this information, you'll understand why Jackson Mandago, the governor of Uasin Gishu, has been so bold with these threats recently. Okay? While it is true to say, I've said this before, that the Nandi are very headstrong. Sometimes, you know, they take risks. But the truth is, this particular risk appears to have been very calculated. The truth is, with the Kalenjin vote being divided in such a way, support of the Nandi is going to be very, very crucial for Jubilee. Okay? Extremely crucial. Now, of course, Governor Mandago knows that, and that is where his power comes from. His power and his boldness comes from that fact. And all this is politics. Okay? That is the situation. And that is why I said months ago that for the first time in history, the Kalenjin vote will be divided. I think now you're understanding where I'm coming from. But there's something else to consider, more bad news for Jubilee. With the kind of incitement that has been going on in Uasin Gishu, and the way Governor Jackson Mandago and his henchmen have been talking to the Nandi, it is very unlikely that the Nandi will be able to cool down their tempers and vote Jubilee. Okay, let me just repeat that. With the heightened tensions, yeah, and remember also that the Nandi have been talking, or rather voicing opinions against a certain community, okay, which is the same community which has a presidential candidate within Jubilee. It is extremely unlikely that the Nandi are going to vote Jubilee. Okay? Of course, you cannot rule out a situation whereby, because knowing the Nandi very well, they're capable of anything. We cannot rule out a situation whereby the Nandi vote only for their governor and they don't vote for president. That is also possible. More reason even to support that is that at a recent meeting, in fact, which was quoted in the press, at a recent meeting, let's say about 2 months ago, where between Isaac Ruto and the Kalenjin, the Kipsigis, Ruto made a very strange statement. This is Isaac Ruto. Yeah? He said that the time has come to forgive Raila Odinga. Okay? And then he said, what is it that Raila did that cannot be forgiven? Yeah? That's a statement he made. Therefore, there's been some anti-Raila venom amongst the Kalenjin community. And of course, this was very clear during the 2013 general elections. And this is one of the reasons why, one of the things which DP William Ruto took a full advantage of, to get the community fully behind him during those elections. Of course, Isaac Ruto did not make it clear what it is that the Kalenjin will need to forgive Raila for before they're able to vote for him. But I already have a very good idea what it is, but I'm not going to speculate because this is something very sensitive. I'm not going to speculate until I'm very sure. The minute I'm sure, I will definitely let you guys know. So with this final episode of my 3-part series on the controversy of Jackson Mandago, you should now be in a position to fully understand the situation on the ground, to fully understand what is going on. Okay? I believe I've also given you a rough idea of how this is going to end at the ballot. Okay? It is still it's still not very clear exactly how it's going to end. The elections are still 60 days or so away, so a lot could happen in this time, because we know a week is a long time in politics. 1 month is a very, very long time, yeah, and 2 months could be even generations in politics. Yeah, that's how it is. Of course, these developments in the Rift Valley throws the presidential race wide open, and it raises a lot of questions. It means that this election is going to be like no other. Yeah, because when we started this election, Jubilee were clear favorites. In fact, I've already said many times that somebody asked me for my opinion. I told them this will be a no contest. It will be a win, a very comfortable win for Jubilee. Okay. Now, the way things have turned out, of course, they have turned out very, very differently. Okay. Then there's also the headache of independent candidates, which I'll tackle in another recording. Okay. But I think that's about it on this topic. Our prayer as Kenyans is that peace prevails. Our prayer as Kenyans is that Kenyans learn to love each other and that we shun tribalism. This is Chris Kumekucha. Until next time.